All right, we can see Aaron. All right, now we're unmuted. We'll take questions for Aaron Henry in the chat. We'll start with Chris Solari.
Hey, Aaron. I guess the return to the court versus maybe the rust versus things that you guys just didn't do. Where do you kind of pin this right now? And what was that locker room like afterward?
Personally, I put this on me from a leadership standpoint, my role on the team. It had nothing to do with 20 days off. It had nothing to do with the time we missed. It's a mental approach, and honestly, it starts with me. Just the intensity and the intangible things just weren't there. A shot didn't fall, and it's Big Ten basketball, man. A lot of shots are going to fall for a lot of teams. It's who competes the hardest, and tonight we didn't compete, and then I'll take responsibility for that.
As a follow to that, those first maybe 5 minutes of each half, the turnovers that happened there, was there between the two halves, was there something in common that was going wrong?
Just the attention to detail. The following the scouting report, knowing they rallied to the ball, the kickouts were open. A lot of guys, the ball was stagnant a lot, and again, that starts with me. I had 6 turnovers tonight. Didn't shoot the ball well. And as a leader, I can't do that. It starts at the head, and I'll take responsibility for that.
Next question is from Lindsay Huddleston.
Hey, Aaron, I definitely heard you loud and clear. You're taking responsibility. You're being accountable. My question is, how do you help the rest of the team turn the page right now? I mean, there are going to be headlines. This is Rutgers' first win in program history against Michigan State. How do you help your teammates move on from tonight?
Again, it starts with me. Sunday, it's not going to get any easier. On the road, the next 2 games are going to be, just as good. And we got to be better, honestly. And again, I'll say it again, it starts with me. I'm holding myself accountable for that. And I can't say much more than that. I'm just disappointed.
Okay, thank you.
Next up, Kyle Austin.
Yeah, and I had a similar question. Obviously, you have a lot of games coming up, not a whole lot of prep time. How do you improve a lot without being able to get on the practice court a whole lot coming up?
It's a question of our ticker. It's not a question of getting shots up or understanding things. It's attention to details. Like I said, it's the intangible things. The question of our heart: are we going to rebound, defend? Are we going to run? Are we going to follow the scouting report? It's just how basketball works, and we have to do those things, and the rest will follow after that. But we have another approach like that, like we did, man. And again, I say it again, it starts with me. And if we do that again, it'll just be ugly.
All right. Question for Matt Charbonneau.
Aaron, I know you said you're not pinning this on the 20 days off, and you've given us a lot of reasons here. In the last couple of days when you guys were able to start practicing more as a team, did it feel like there was continuity there, or did you kind of feel like things weren't exactly, gelling so much the last couple of days?
Practices were fine. We weren't hard. We got after it. The return was nothing shy of what we expected, but we have to have carryover. And it starts in the preparation on the plane on the way here, when we land at the hotel, pregame meals, on the bus, the approach. That's just what it is. Been here 3 years, won games here, and those when the games are won. And I'm sure we'll find our way. I'm sure. I'm not letting that happen that we don't. But tonight it's on me. It's on me.
Thanks.
All right, Aaron, that's all we have for you tonight. Thank you. All right, at this time, we're joined by Coach Izzo. Coach, if you want to get us started off with the opening statement.
Yeah, probably disappointed. It'd be a easy opening statement. I didn't know what we'd do, and I thought we started out like I hope not to, but I thought that's the way it was. And I give us a lot of credit that we fought back and cut it to 4. And, you know, after shooting terrible and turning the ball over so much, if I told you what the keys to the game were, that was one, not giving up any missed free throws. They only got 11 and they didn't miss many. But offensively, you know, Josh had some great looks. He was 1 for 8. Malik had some great looks. He was 1 for 6. And, you know, we just, they did a good job defensively. We did a poor job, but you have 33 points off turnovers. That's a big part of the game. You have 21 turnovers. And even coming out of halftime, first 3 possessions were turnover. So we didn't do a very good job, and that falls on me.
Our first question comes from Chris Solari.
That was actually the thing that I was going to ask you about, those 2 5-minute stretches to start the halves. Just kind of sloppy. I mean, is that rust from not having game competition and kind of maybe the body forgetting what you need to do certain times?
No, I don't think so. I thought Aaron in a couple of huddles said it best. He said, you know, there's no excuse for the turnovers. There's no excuse. I mean, our defense wasn't great, but it probably wasn't bad when you think about they only scored 67 points with 100 turnovers. And there's no excuse to just dribble it in and pass it to a guy. And I thought they brought a little more energy. I thought we had one of our best shoot-arounds today. I thought we had a good practice yesterday. I'm sure we have a little COVID hangover. I understand that, but that will not be an excuse for the way we played. That would be a good excuse for losing a game, but not the way we played.
As a follow, how do you approach this game moving ahead? I mean, do you kind of bury it? Do you focus in on it? Harp on it? I mean,
you want me to give you a Mike Krzyzewski answer on a question like that? I mean, I haven't even looked at the film yet, so I won't do that. I really don't care about the next game. I to be perfectly honest with you, all I want to do is get back to the hotel and take a look at the film and figure out were the turnovers as ridiculous as I thought, or was the defense better than I thought? But we did not have the energy. I thought we had more energy in practice yesterday, which was only our third practice, with the up and down than we had tonight. And, so frustration sets in and then you start making even worse plays. But, I'll worry about the next game tomorrow. I'm going to worry about this game and see if I can figure out why my key guys. I mean, I think Aaron had 6 and Rocket had 3 and I think Foster had 3. And I think, I don't know, I think my 4 guards between them had 15 or 16 turnovers. And I can't give all the credit to Rutgers, but I can give them more than their share of credit because they played awfully well. First time ever, they went 9 for 11 from the free throw line. They played well, we played poorly.
Up next, Matt Charbonneau.
I feel like there's a lot of things we can look at and try and dissect and everything here and wonder why it happened. But the shooting specifically, a lot of good open looks at times tonight. I mean, it might be simple to say that's because you haven't had a lot of time in the gym, but is it hard to kind of pinpoint why so many of those open looks you just weren't making shots?
Well, I swear to you, Matt, I mean, that's the best question I've had because I'm the 2 things that I really felt like we weren't great defensively, but we weren't bad. I mean, they shot 43 and 26. I mean, considering all the layups they got off turnovers, that's probably not bad. Josh, I probably played him too many minutes. That was my fault. I didn't know if I could play him at all. And he felt not very good 2 days ago, but yesterday he felt a lot better. And he was okay during the game as far as his wind and everything. But, I can see where he missed some. But We had some other guys that just missed some wide open shots. You're right, especially the start of the second half. You hit a couple of those and it changes the game, but we didn't, and then the game got away from us, and that's probably my fault, to be honest with you.
Up next, Lindsay Huddleston.
Hey, Tom, tough outing for sure. I'm sure every coach in America wants to know at the 16:41 mark, what did you say to your team when they were down 0-10 that ended up allowing you to have a salvageable first half when it was all said and done?
Like a true positive question. I appreciate that. I told them that we just got to get it one play at a time, because we were trying to get it back too fast. We were just playing a little bit out of control, and we weren't moving the ball from side to side. And we talked about it all week. I mean, Aaron went over it before the game and even after the game, said the same thing. We talked about it all week, that we got to move the ball because we didn't think they were as good defensively. They give up 45%. But we just didn't move it. We a lot of one-on-one. We didn't throw back. We didn't do the things that I thought we could do. Is it because some of those guys hadn't practiced at all? Is it because we just did a poor job, or is it because Rutgers played well, and Rutgers deserves some credit. Steve's a great coach, and they did a good job. So I just told them, hey, we get it back. We had missed a couple layups. Thomas Kithier missed a layup. I think it was Rocket missed a wide open shot, and somebody else did. And I said, we're getting good enough shots. And then I thought we went into a stretch where we did move the ball better and got some shots, and we started making some, got our break going. Second half, we just reverted back to one-on-one play, and I think they took us out of the game, and give them credit for that.
Thank you.
Up next, Bob Wojnowski.
Hey there, Tom.
How you doing, Bob?
Good, thanks. You've had teams before and stretches before in the middle of a season that things have gone awry a little bit, and you've pulled it together always. But this is a unique season, obviously, a unique situation. How difficult will this one be to pull together, and are you confident you can do it?
I said last week when I kind of went off on everybody, because I don't think anybody realizes how hard it is during this pandemic, but I thought it was pretty apropos as we got on the bus today after our testing, and a couple guys came out and said, first time I ever saw it, they said, I'm not positive. And it makes me wonder, how much that's on some of their mind. But like I said, with Gabe out, with Josh out, with guys not being able to practice, with 8 guys, it's I just don't know, Bob, if that was the reason. That's why I said I want to look at the film, because I thought we did a lot of poor things, but turn the ball over and get 33 points off turnovers, that's fixable, because we won't do that again. So you're right. I've been here before. That's the nice thing about a long career. You've kind of gone through a lot of different phases, and but we got to get some guys playing a little better. Hauser's got to play better. Josh, we got to get him back healthy, and I thought Rocket, he had such a good couple days of practice. I thought he was going to play his best game when I watched him in warm-ups today, but it just and they got after him too. I mean, they got after Aaron, they got after him. Aaron's been he's been great, to be honest with you guys. He's taken blame, he's taken everything, and he was pretty bummed out after the game, but they're handling it well. I just the freshman point guard, we're not very solid there yet. We've got to keep working to get better at that. When you don't get the practice, you don't get better. And so for 20 days, we didn't get there. 16 days, we didn't get to do anything that would go up and down or give a guy a chance to read the defense or that. Sure, that hurt us some, but that's still not a reason you turn the ball over like we did. That has nothing to do with that in my mind.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we have 2 more questions. We'll start with Brendan Quinn.
Tom, you mentioned earlier frustration sets in and you start making worse plays.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
you said earlier, when frustration sets in and then you start making worse plays. And that does seem that has kind of been a thing that has happened in games like this, right? Where things just kind of compound. And I wonder with this group, what's kind of the dynamic of, I don't know, enforcing positive thinking at this point and just trying to, not let things snowball.
Yeah, that's a good point, and I think one of them, Joey not playing a year and Josh not playing for 2 years. And, there's just things that get frustrating. I mean, Josh has spent so much time trying to come back. And I think he thought tonight, because he had a good day of practice yesterday, everything was going to be the norm and he could do what he could do. And that's just not the way it works. It wasn't his lack of effort, that's for sure. It was just lack of reps, and he's missed 2 years of it. So that's a little frustrating. And then when our, kind of somebody at the point to settle that down, I mean, we'll get there. I do think that we'll play better as we get back practicing a little bit, although there's not a lot of days to practice, especially the way the schedule is now going to be. But we won't play like this again as far as turning the ball over. I promise you that. So, those are the frustrating things that frustrate fans, frustrate coaches, frustrate players. But I'm trying to keep it all into perspective a little bit. And this was a wicked 20 days. Some people adjust to it, just depends who your personnel is, but not being able to get, those young guards involved, and especially like Josh, he's not a young guard, but he's a guard that hasn't played for 2 years. So all of them are young and experienced as far as what's happened. And I think we showed that tonight. I mean, we just did not play very well at that position, any of the guard positions, and that's why you have those turnovers.
We'll go to Stephen Brooks and then wrap up with Chris Solari.
Hey, Tom, you mentioned this week that Marcus had shown you some things in these last couple of weeks. Just curious of your evaluation of him tonight.
I thought Marcus, the first half, was our best player. He did some things that he needed to do, and he's been just great. I mean, I don't know if it was the haircut or what. I joked with him, but he's really, starting to do some things well. And, I think that was encouraging. He didn't play quite as good the second half. I thought Malik Hall played really good the first half and struggled a little bit the second half. I could see everybody's kind of, go down a little bit, and that's pretty normal. But I don't know if it's as normal as it should be, because our leadership had to pick up then, and that includes me too, by the way. So, frustrating night for everybody, disappointing night, and yet I don't know what I expected. I told you guys, I don't know what I would expect of the team. Now I know what, how we played, and now my job is to correct it, and we'll get it corrected. Bob's right. It'll happen. We're going to get it corrected. We're going to have to find guys that are just going to move the ball a little better on offense. That's what we got to really do a better job of.
Thank you.
Chris?
That actually goes into what I was going to ask you. How much did you need this as a baseline for these guys coming off that layoff to see how to push them with a couple games ahead? And also, without having Dane down the bench, how did you guys work that situation? Were you kind of running the guards more?
Yeah. I don't think that. I mean, no coach turns the ball over. Not me or them. I mean, players have to be accountable for what they do. Coaches have to be accountable for what they do. But I think baseline, God, I just don't know if missing the shots, I have a baseline. I think that was okay. I understand that. Not rebounding the ball, that has nothing to do with anything. Not cutting out. Guys are taking shots, balls bouncing back to them. I mean, maybe that's not playing for a while, but that's an instinct that a player should have. And I was disappointed in that, but just the passing and turnovers. And maybe as I talk to more coaches, maybe I got to be more understanding on that. Maybe that is part of it. There's not many people that go 20 days, but at the same time, nobody's going to feel sorry for you. And I'm sure not. And don't expect anybody out there to. So we just got to get back, watch the film, try to figure out, and then we'll get the game plan going for our next game. But it's going to be to play a lot harder. It's going to be play a lot smarter. It's going to be taking care of the ball. And those will be big keys. I mean, the offense, I loved what Aaron said in the huddle about 9 times, okay, we're not playing very well on the offensive end, but, it really was the defensive end or the rebounding. They only had, I don't know how many offensive rebounds they ended up with, 13, but they scored on a lot. They scored on a lot of offensive rebounds and they scored on a lot of turnovers, and that's easy ways to score. So, it really wasn't the defense as much as it wasn't finishing the job. And then at late, they started making threes and hit a few of those, and give them credit. I mean, like I said, I think Steve's one of the better coaches in this league, and he did a good job with his team. He's benched a couple guys. He's moved a couple guys around, and I think he got their attention. And, it wasn't that long ago. This was a top 10 or 15 team in the country. So not a surprise that they played well. They had a lot on the line too, coming off a big win on the road. Little disappointing that we did not execute the things that I thought were keys that I think we could have. Bad shot or missing shots. There weren't even a lot of bad shots, missing shots. I can stomach that. I just can't stomach some of the other things. So that's what we'll try to fix.
All right, Coach, that's everything tonight. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
We'll be joined here in a second by Malik Hall, and that'll be our last one here this evening. Malik, if you can unmute it, we'll go ahead and get you some questions here. All right, you're all good there. First question comes from Chris Solari.
Hey, Malik. Coach kind of left us with talking about some of the things that you guys needed with the defense and rebounding and cutting out. The stretch that you guys had at the end of the first half, how much did you guys talk about that in those huddles before that, and what happened to it after halftime?
We were harping on kind of just picking the energy up in those timeouts before that stretch, and just continuing to bring energy. And then somewhere in halftime, we just lost all our energy and we didn't come out strong enough or physical enough, and they punked us.
Our next question is from Kyle Austin.
Malik, I know you guys had a chance to shoot during the timeout. That was one of the few things you could do. Did it surprise you at all how many shots kind of weren't falling tonight for you guys?
It did a little bit. A lot of people spent a lot of time working on their shot while we had that time off. And I mean, it's a game pace, so it's a little bit different, but I think it'll start to steady out after a little bit.
Next question comes from Lindsay Huddleston.
Malik, with the long layoff, is it fair to say that there was some anxiety building up for you or some of the players when this day finally came, when you finally got a chance to get back out there, even though you were off for a long time?
I think there might have been a little bit, just, so much not knowing for a while, and then it's finally here, and then kind of wet the bed.
Thank you.
Anything additional for Malik? There's one from Matt Charbonneau.
Malik, when Aaron was talking to us earlier, he mentioned wondering about your guys' ticker and how hard you played. Did you sense that too? And are you concerned at all about moving forward if guys aren't, really all, not that you're all in, but you're just not giving that effort that you think you guys need?
Yeah, I sensed it a little bit too. I think we have to come out strong, and it kind of starts with that, like not letting anybody just come out and just kick us in the face. Like we started off, I think it was 10-0. I don't know when their run stopped, but it was 15. So they came out 15-0, and I mean, that can never happen. Like at that point, we're playing catch up the whole game, and it shouldn't be like that.
Anything additional from Malik? All right, I'm not seeing anything else. Malik, thanks for your time.
Yep.
All right, and that's going to wrap us up tonight. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.